Hi, my name is CeLeste Christopher. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial. It will be based on these lovely little light switch covers. I'm going to teach you how to customize your own light switch cover. You can do it for the holidays. You can do it for anything you want to do it for. In the meantime, I'll be right with you and I'm going to show you how to do this. Thanks for coming to my channel. Well, now that the introductions are out of the way, hi, I'm CeLeste again. So here we're going to, I'm putting this together for you, so we're going to show you what you need. Mod Podge. An outlet, a light switch. You can also do plug outlets, but we're just going to do a light switch outlet today. This will be for smoothing the surface. This is not really what you normally would use, but a lot of times you'll see it in the Mod Podge aisle. It's for smoothing wrinkles and bubbles out. This is the paper we're going to use today. Some snowflakes that look like it's on burlap, but it is just paper. A ruler for cutting, a pencil for outlining, a little box cutting type knife. I use the smallest one. This is a Stanley. I use small ones. And a couple of brushes with which to smooth on the Mod Podge. And a gritty sponge. I use the fine to medium. This is actually a generic one. It doesn't really have a fine or medium grit. It's about the same. It just said medium to fine on it, so I got it. Alright, the first thing you do is you're going to take out the screws. Sometimes they're longer than others, and sometimes they pull right out. Other times you might have to get a screwdriver to pull them out. Put them where you know where they are, if you want, because you could lose them. Now, feel free to ask me how I know that, because I have lost them before. In my first few that I did, I actually lost the screws to them. I did eventually find them, but I lost them for a little short time. So you put them where you know where they are. Now we have a nice little, what I like to call, canvas here. There's a light switch canvas with which to do any kind of artwork we want. In this case, we're going to decoupage this canvas. We want to make the surface, we want to scuff it up a little bit so that it helps to adhere better. You want to have a good surface for Mod Podging. Decoupage. Okay, that's all it takes. It just needs to be, the shiny stuff needs to be taken off of it. Then we're going to take the paper, and this is just scrapbook paper from a company. These are the 6x6s, like you can buy at Hobby Lobby. And this is Paper Studio. I got the Winter Wonderland, so we could try a little project doing Christmas time. Alright, let me get this where you can see it. Very good. Hopefully, that's a good shot. Alright, we're going to center that as best we can. And then we're just going to draw an outline of it. And that doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be... Nobody's going to see that anyway. Then you want to make it about a ½ inch larger. For cutting, because you want that little bit of leeway all the way around. You want that little bit of leeway so you can finish it off, make a nice finish for it. I don't have any examples right now to show you, otherwise I could show you some of my examples of a finished and one that's finished but not as finished as it should be. But that's okay. Alright, now we're good to go. So we're going to take our ruler, lay it along our little line that we used for cutting, preparing it, and we're going to cut it. Make sure I get that straight. For some reason, I'm not doing a very good job today. There. That will work. We're probably going to do more cutting in a few moments, but this gets it cut down to the right for us. I'm just going to cut all 4 sides. And then we're done with that for now. And that's what you have. And that makes it usable and workable. So now we're going to put some Mod Podge on the light switch plate. I don't put it on as thickly as a lot of people do with theirs, merely because right now I just want the paper to stick, and the paper tends to bubble, toil and trouble. It tends to bubble pretty badly. So when that happens, you have kind of a mess, and you have to use your little, you might even have to use a brayer to work out the, and that's just very time consuming in my opinion. This is a brayer, in case you wondered. It's possible we might have to use it, but I'm gonna try not to. You just roll it on. That's how you get it on there. Sometimes you have to use one of these, maybe. The goal is to try to not to have to do that today. I got a little Mod Podge there. Take that off of there. Okay. Now, we are going to lay that here, and we're going to lay that down and center it as best as possible. That's probably as close as I'm going to be able to get. Alright, now it's on there. You can actually use this if you want to. It's not really necessary, but sometimes if you don't have something like that, you can use a tongue depressor or a stick, a popsicle stick, or a ruler. But I normally just rub it on there, because this paper is usually pretty good about not. Well, here's a finished product that I did yesterday. Okay, I finished this one. It needs another coat or two of Mod Podge, but other than that, this is how it turned out. And it's really cute. It has little owls on it. And I got the edges just right on that one. We'll see if I can do that again today. Alright, in the meantime, okay, so now we're going to fold it over, and as you can see, there's some excess that's going to come over the edge. What we're going to do is we're going to cut that away. And we're just going to see where it needs to be cut away. This is why I do this, so I know where it's going to be cut away. And I need a nice edge to cut with, because that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay. Alright, when I get that part done, I'm going to take my ruler and put it right along where I just did the edge, and I'm going to cut that excess off. And that should go, it's still a little big. We'll cut just a little more off, I think. If I can, there's not very much there to cut. And I don't want to cut too much. Yes, that's better. Then we'll do this side. And we're just going to take this right along that edge right there and just cut that piece off of there. And that one's also just a little more than I want on there. It'll come off later. Believe me, we can fix that. The trusty sanding sponge that works every time. Okay. And we'll do the ends here. I'm doing this as quickly as possible. Okay. And then this one. Now we've got some nice, now it's cut nicely so it'll have a nice finish. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some Mod Podge there. Mod Podge on the sides. I start with one side. I don't want too much because then it goes everywhere. Okay. And then I'm going to just press it down. Sometimes I'll take and I'll roll it like this so that is going to stick on the side. And as you can see, we have a little excess Mod Podge here that I am going to wipe off. Okay. However, now we can, and you can hold it here or you can hold it with your hand. Either way, I just keep holding it. It's not going to get dry, but I continue to just do a little until it adheres really well. And that looks like it's adhering well, and I can always, it's sticky enough so I can go back to do that in a moment. Now we're going to do this one, and we're just going to put that Mod Podge along the edge. And we're going to do the same thing with that one. We're going to roll that just a little, smooth it and roll it. Smooth it and roll it. And then I'm going to use my hands to do the same, basically the same thing. Just smooth over and roll it. And the other side wants to come up a little bit, so we're going to, this one's not working as well as the one yesterday, but that's okay. That happens. One way or another, it will get done, and you will learn how to do this. Okay. This is the simplest way I have really discovered to do this. So there's other ways to do it, but they kind of take shortcuts that aren't as, they don't look as good when you take the shortcuts. Alright, and we're going to do the top now. Or this side. Now you have to fold in order to get a nice little edge. You're going to have to fold that in and then come around. See how I'm having to get that little fold in there and then come over. So then it just looks like, it kind of looks like a neat wrapped package right there, because you've got the little, I went a little too far with it. That's awesome. Okay. Now, alright, and I'm going to do this with it to get it to stick on the end there. It's fighting me a little bit today. And it could be maybe I'm just in a little bit of a rush and I shouldn't, because I want the video to be short, informative, and not too, I don't want to bore you. Alright. It's starting to stick a little. There we go. Alright, now the other end we're going to do the same thing. Get a little more Mod Podge. And you're just going to put it right along the edge. I hope you can see that. And again, we're going to fold the two ends down just a little bit so that we have a nice clean corner. And this one is just fighting me today. And then we're gonna, okay. And you're gonna just do this because the warmth from your hand will somewhat help with this, or I have found that it does. If you have cold hands, that's okay too, because just the touch, just keeping it maintained will help with that a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to put a little more Mod Podge there because it tends to be needing it right there. That or this light switch cover just doesn't like me very much. It's okay too, it's not required to like me, it's just required to let me decorate it. I don't know if that's like putting makeup on somebody that doesn't want makeup or not. I don't think that applies to inanimate objects. And see, now I'm just babbling. Okay. And I just want to get that to where it's, see how I've gotten the other sides all the way around pretty well. Sticking and set. This one's just having a rough time. You might have to use a little more Mod Podge here and there, which will make a little bit of a mess on your hand, but that's okay. Your hands will clean up. It'll be fine. Okay, now we're moving that along now. Okay. Now I do that first. As you can see, now we just have, it just looks like a cover with no holes or anything in it. What we're going to do is we're going to cut this part out now. Now that we have this part done and it's pretty well secured, we're going to cut down either side from corner to corner. And then the two top corners from corner to corner, corner to corner. And pop it out of there. See the little light switch hole pops right out. As you can see, it's already nicely. There we go. And that kind of finishes it out. And once we put more Mod Podge on that, that'll look more finished. And we're still having a little problem here with it sticking like it's supposed to. Okay, maybe I didn't use enough Mod Podge, but that's okay. As you can see, the corners are little corners. Just like with this one. See, I have little corners there. They look like little clean corners. Okay, this one's got little clean corners. Let's see if I can get that and where I can show you the little clean. Okay, and the back. Then the back is clean and finished. You have a finished look as opposed to having to fight with it. Now, if you have any excess that comes over the side, like I did a little bit here, you can always just take your sanding sponge and that will sand right off. And that'll be fine. That's fine. Now, I personally like to get a little bit of a rustic look out of mine. I did it with this. I just did a little, you can't really tell, but there's a little, see, it looks like there's, I vintaged it. I like that shabby chic, so what I do is I just run that over that a little bit, just back and forth, up and down, so then it has a little bit of maybe more of a vintage look. That's what the sanding does for it. And now we are going to, I know you're wondering when we're going to put the holes in for the screws. I do that after the second coat. Sometimes after the first coat, depending on how well the paper does. And I kind of hold it like this, because it's a messy job anyway. But there it goes. And I put a thin layer on the first time. Well, thin to medium layer. I don't really measure it, but I want there to be enough on there to, I know I'm making a mess on it. But you can see what I'm doing there. Might be better if I hold it using this. That way I can get the edges. And I'm using a mat that it won't stick to, so I don't have to worry too much about that. So if you can find a mat that you know it won't stick to, that'll be great. Alright, I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you how I do the holes, so we can do that. And then we'll be done, because then I can just explain to you that you continue to put more coats of Mod Podge on. It doesn't look like it's going to buckle. This is actually looking really good. It doesn't look like it's going to buckle or anything. I will sometimes run the brayer over it. Very gently, just enough to make sure the paper is it's not gonna wrinkle or buckle. But you don't want to use too much pressure because you'll break your. And then here's what I do. Depending on how thick the paper is, I sometimes will just take, and I'll put a little hole right where the hole is. And you can normally tell by the back where it is. It's right here, and there will be a little indentation right where it is. Just be careful and don't stick your fingers in there too much. Stick your screw in the holes. Now I don't leave them in there while they're drying or while I'm doing the Mod Podge, but I do make the holes. That way they are there when I make the rest of the subsequential layers. I will just say that. And then if they don't go down very well like this one didn't, I will stick a pencil and roll it and roll it. So now you have the little holes there. And then we can put another little layer of Mod Podge on top of that. Okay. Alright. So we have, I'm going to count that as one layer of Mod Podge. It looks like there are some little pieces on there I don't want on there. That will not make it smooth. Yeah, I could fix that. Okay, that's fixed. Okay. And you'll want to do that at least, you'll want at least 3 coats. I suggest 6 coats of Mod Podge. It will not make it waterproof. So what you're going to do then is you will buy some acrylic spray. And you can put some acrylic on it, which will make it more waterproof. You will be sad if you try to put this on your wall and you go to clean your wall and clean the switch cover, because it could get a little dirty over the season. Then what you're going to do is you're going to be sad because that Mod Podge is not waterproof. So you'll want to put some acrylic on there, which is more waterproof. Just don't be aggressive with cleaning it, because you will still be sad because it will mess it up. Alright, that's it. That's all you do. Thank you for your time, and I hope I've done my first training video tutorial. I hope I've done a good job, and I hope you understand everything going on. If not, feel free to ask me questions below.